Hello guys, good to see you back. Once again, I'm back with a new tutorial related JavaScript, and in this tutorial we are going to learn JavaScript from events. In our previous tutorials, we already learned about some basic events like click, double click, right click, mouse over, etc. But in this tutorial, we are going to learn some basic from events. And these are all basic from events we are going to learn in these tutorials. First, we have some key press events like key down, key press, key up, focus, blur, and then we have some select events. And we already learned about key down, key press, and key up events in our previous tutorials. So we are going to start this tutorial with focus and blur event. So as you can see, side by side, I open my Visual Studio Code editor and my browser using live server extension, and I already created an HTML document named index.html. As you can see in my HTML page, we have a HTML from, and we have two text field and one option field. And as you can see, before the first text field, we use name label, and then we use class label and our second text field. And then it shows some country name options like India, Pakistan, Nepal, USA, Japan. And you can see the HTML structure in my page. We have from tag, label, input tag, select options, etc. As I told you, we are going to start our practical with focus event. Now the question is, what is focus? Whenever I click on this name input field, as you can see, now it highlighted the input field with black border. At the same way, if I click class input field, now it highlighted this class input field. Also, if I click on these options, now you can see also it highlighted this section. So this is called focus. This is the inbuilt feature of browser, but we can customize it using onFocus event. At first, I'm going to assign an ID to this first input field. So here I'm going to type ID equal to fname. Fname stands for first name. Then inside the script tag, with that also I'm going to add an event, which is onFocus. So I'm going to type onFocus. And then here we need to provide a function name. And our function name is focus function. And then I'm going to create this function inside this script tag. So type function keyword, function, and our function name is focus function. Basically, I'm going to copy this function name. And then we need to target this input field using its ID, which is fname. So here I'm going to type document dot get element by ID inside the round braces. Then inside the curly braces, inside the round braces, we need to provide the ID name, which is fname. Then I want to apply a background color whenever I focus this input field. So I'm going to use dot style dot, and I want to apply background color equal to red. I want to apply red background color. Then semicolon 2 in this line. Now let's save the file and click on this input field. After click on this input field, as you can see, now our input field background color is red. But if I click on other input field, it's not going to work because we target this particular input field using its ID. And now I want to apply this same event in our second input field. For that, I'm going to copy this section onFocus event and paste it the second input field. But I'm not going to assign any ID to this input field. I'm going to leave it blank. Now you might have questioned how we can select the second input field without the ID. Let me show you. For that, I'm going to use this keyword in our function. So when we call our function, inside the round braces, I'm going to pass this keyword, this. Also, I'm going to pass this keyword in our second input field, this. Using this keyword, we can apply this particular function in this particular input field whenever we focus on it. And to handle it, we need to take a variable in our function. So inside the round braces, we are going to take a variable name, and our variable name is element. And then I'm going to replace this section with this variable element. That's it. Now let's save the file and reload the browser. This time I'm going to click our second input field. Now you can see it's work on our second input field. It apply the focus event and change the background color. Similarly, if I click on name input field, also it change the background color of name input field. And if I want to apply the same event in our country section, yes we can. Just we need to copy this function on focus event and we need to paste it after this ID in our select tag. If I save this file and click on this country option, now you can see this time it apply the background color in our drop down option. So this is how it's work. Basically, we can use focus event in our input fields, options and anchor tags. Now we have a problem. After focus our input field, if I remove our cursor and click on other section, now you can see it still show background color red. Now we need to remove this focus color. So how we can do it? For this we need to use blur event. For that, at the same way we need to use this event after on focus function. So here I'm going to type the event name on blur. Also inside the double quotes we need to pass a function name. So I'm going to copy this function name, focus function, and I'm going to change focus function name with blur function. That's it. And I'm going to do the same thing for the next input field. So I'm going to copy this section and paste after on focus event. Also in our select option. Then I'm going to duplicate this function and I'm going to change the function name. Focus to blur. And I'm going to remove the color name and leave it blank. And I'm going to save this file. Now, first time I'm going to focus the name input field. As you can see, the background color turned into red. But whenever I focus on this class input field, now you can see it removed the red background color from our first input field. So this is how it's work. Now you understand how focus and blur events work together. Here you can use add event listener also if you don't want to type this much of code. In our previous tutorial, we already learned about it. Now let's talk about our another event, which is input. This event apply when we try to fill the input field. And basically we use this event with input field and text area. It do not work on select box and radio buttons. So let's start the practical and see how we can use it. So let's call the event in our first input section. And our event name is on input. And inside the double quotes, we need to pass a function. And our function name is input function. Then inside the round braces, also I'm going to use this keyword. Now I'm going to duplicate this section and replace blur function with input function. And whenever I try to fill this input field, I want yellow background color. So I'm going to pass yellow. And I'm going to save this file. After save this file, first I'm going to click on name input field. And I'm going to pass some text, a name, and name is add1. So as you can see, when we type some text in this field, it's changed the background color, red to yellow. So this is the usage of on input event. So this is it for this tutorial. At the next tutorial, I'm going to cover the remaining events. So thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for our next tutorial.